All right, let's go ahead and go over the Thursday night matchup we got between the 49ers and the Seahawks. First, we're going to start at the quarterback position. Let's go ahead and start with the 49ers, who's going to be without Jimmy Garoppolo yet again. And we have Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy does have an oblique injury, but he did play through it last week. He looked really, really good last week. If he's unable to go, it looks like it's probably going to be Josh Johnson, but I do have Brock Purdy in here getting the start. And on the other side, on the Seahawks, we're looking at Geno Smith. Geno Smith has been outstanding through the entire season. He's doing what a lot of people didn't think that he can do, and he's actually been a pretty decent fantasy quarterback. In week 2, he did play against these 49ers. He went 24 for 30 for 197 yards and an interception. The 49ers defense giving up the 5th least fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, and the Seahawks are kind of in the middle of the pack for Brock Purdy. In this matchup, I do have Brock Purdy as a sit and Geno Smith as a sit. Neither quarterback, I believe, is going to be worth putting up any type of fantasy numbers this week, especially now that you're in your fantasy football playoffs, and we need to find those people who are going to give you the points that you need to succeed and advance in the playoffs. Now let's go ahead and switch over to the running back position. First off, starting at the 49ers, we're going to go over Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey going against the Seahawks defense, who's giving up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Last week, McCaffrey was shining. He's getting more comfortable. He started to become the old McCaffrey that we know. He had 14 carries, 119 yards, and a touchdown last week. I think this week he's actually going to improve on those numbers. He is going to be the guy. No Jimmy G in there. Brock Purdy's going to be hurt if he's in there. It's going to be a lot of Christian McCaffrey. Now, on the other side, we do have Jordan Mason, who has also had 11 carries last week, but he's really not sustainable. He doesn't consistently get those double-digit type of carries. So Christian McCaffrey, the only running back that we're really worried about this week, and I do have Christian McCaffrey as a start. Looking at the Seahawks now, we do have Kenneth Walker, who did miss last week due to an ankle injury. It's still unsure if he's going to be ready to go for Thursday. If he's not going to be able to go, it looks like Travis Homer will probably be the main ball carrier if Walker misses this game. Doesn't really matter to me which one plays. Kenneth Walker, he's going to be hurt. If he does come in, may not be 100%. And if Walker doesn't play, you got Travis Homer. In my opinion, it doesn't matter which one is in there. Kenneth Walker is a sit. Travis Homer is a sit. Now let's go over to the wide receiver position here. First off, we're going to start off with the 49ers defense. The Seahawks defense is giving up the 6th least fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. We have Brandon Ayuk and Jauan Jennings. Brandon Ayuk, he's going to be the lone number 1 now that Deebo Samuel is going to be out for the foreseeable future. Jauan Jennings, he received 36% of the snaps the last 4 weeks. He should probably be jumped up to about 70-75% of the snap share at the wide receiver position without Deebo Samuel, but I don't think it really is going to matter much. The Seahawks actually have a decent secondary, but looks like just based on volume alone, I will have Brandon Ayuk as a start and Jauan Jennings as a sit. On the other side, we're going against with the Seahawks going against the 49ers defense, giving up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. DK Metcalf really didn't have a good game in week 2, but I always say all the time, start your studs. Tyler Lockett in week 2 had 9 catches for 107 yards on 11 targets. You never know which one of these guys are going to get it. They're both studs. And on the other side, Marquise Goodwin, he's inconsistent with his production. Last week, he was the best receiver on the field, but this week, probably not so much. I'm going to go DK Metcalf as a start, Tyler Lockett as a start, and Marquise Goodwin as a sit. Last but not least, let's look at the tight end position here. Starting with the 49ers, we have George Kittle going against the Seahawks defense, giving up the 2nd most points to opposing tight ends. I mean, he should be able to produce and have a nice game. Like I said earlier, they're probably going to be down. It's either going to be Purdy in there or it's going to be Josh Johnson, and they're going to be throwing the ball quite a bit just based off of volume alone. I like Brandon Ayuk at the wide receiver position, and I like George Kittle at the tight end position. I have George Kittle as a start. On the other side, we're going at the Seahawks tight ends. We got Noah Fant and Will Disley. 49ers defense giving up the 6th least fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Noah Fant, week 2, played against the 49ers, 2 catches, 11 yards. Not really something you're wanting to do. It's just not enough passing volume towards Fant. He's kind of sharing the workload with Will Disley, but Will Disley has been out-snapped 3 out of the 4 weeks. And it's just one of those, you can't really bank on either one of these guys doing anything. But the main tight end, I believe, on this offense is Noah Fant. So if you had to start one, he would be it. But again, this is playoff time. I have Noah Fant as a sit.